Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today is the last of 4 videos that I'm going to make on this beautiful Saturday in October. It's mid-October, absolutely gorgeous day. We've been through our first freeze, and it's time finally to harvest jujubes. I am so excited. Last year in October, about this same time of year, we had a heavy freeze. It went from in the 50s and 60s down into the teens, and it froze my jujubes before they were fully ripe. They still tasted good, I still candied them, I still dried them, and they were just fine. But this year they finally ripened to perfection, and I wanted to show you what they look like and show you my harvest. Now, I'm not going to show you the candying process or the drying process. I'll link the video up above that showed what I did last year. This year I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not supposed to have sugar, so I think I will probably, you can't candy the jujubes without sugar, so I think what I'll do is reduce that down as much as I think I can reduce it and still dry them, and they should be good. So anyway, let me show you what a fully ripe jujube looks like. So here we have some ripe jujubes. The ones up top here are more to my liking. If you can see that dark color, that's when they're the sweetest and the crunchiest. But we have them in various stages. The green ones are not quite ripe yet, but they're still tasty this time of year. They're not going to, the taste isn't going to change that much more. It's kind of having a hard time focusing. But this one is almost all the way to the full color. This one is at the full color. And then I think we already have some right here that are drying on the tree. Now, I don't like them as much dried on the tree, but you can use these. They're very good. So let me show you how I actually harvest them. Here's another one that's on its way to the drying. So you can kind of see the different stages of the jujubes in this tree. But let me show you how you can harvest them. It's a lot of fun, and I did it in my last video too. So here we go. Now, I'm not going to be able to get all of the jujubes out of the tree probably this time, but we're going to do our best to get as many as possible. So what you do is you brace yourself and shake the tree. You can hear that. Here they come. Okay, so my tree is matured to the point where it's taking some of the fun out of this. I used to be able to just shake the trunk, the whole tree would shake, and every single jujube would come out. But I had to resort to banging it with a PVC pipe, and there's still quite a bit up at the top that I wasn't able to reach. But the next heavy storm will bring, the next heavy storm should bring the ones up there that are still up there down. So we did get quite a few. There's quite a few on the ground. Now we're just going to pick them all up. Now, picking up a ton of jujubes off the ground is going to take quite a while, and it's not going to be fun watching, so I will be back and show you how much I've harvested. Took a bit. We picked up all the ones that we could find. I actually see one more little guy that I missed. And as you can see, some of the creatures have figured out that these are good. I think there's birds and possibly even, a rodent of some sort that's been eating them. But anyway, there's quite a few, maybe another grocery bag and a half up at the top there. So let me show you what I harvested. Now, most years I get 4 bags of good ones and a couple of bags of bad ones. So I have about a bag and a half left on the tree. You can see over there. I don't know how many of those you can see because of the sun, but there's still quite a few up at the top. So I think there's probably about another bag and a half left, but it'll take the next big windstorm to bring those down. Windstorm definitely brings them down. And I may need to get on the roof. This is the first year I've seen them laying on the roof, and they're going to be clogging up my gutter, so I may need to do that shortly. Anyway, we've got the harvest. Let me show you what I got here. So because I got to them a little bit earlier this year, this is the only bag of bad ones. You know, rodent eaten, squishy, you know, cracked to the point where I just am not comfortable with them. There's those. And then 3.5 full bags of really good ones. And look at the size of these. Now I think, you know, when I bought this, I thought it was a Lang, but now I'm thinking it's a Lee. This is self-fertile. It doesn't require a pollinator. It's, you know, we're in Utah and very few people grow Jujubees here. There seems to be more people trying to grow them. I have my Utah Rare Fruit Growers Facebook page, and we're trying to promote growing these a little bit more there. But there's a good size one. Here's one that's not fully colored up, but it'll still taste fine. There's some rodent-eaten ones. And this is the last of what's left from last year. So I dry these. Let me see if I can get this open. I cut them in half, take the pit out, and these I use in cooking. You know, you can use them in meat and all sorts of things. They're pretty good dry, you know, just to eat, but they're not as good as candied. Let me show you the candied ones. Now here's what they look like when they're candied. These are just boiled in sugar water, soaked overnight, and then boiled again for a little bit longer. I add a little bit, just a tiny bit of corn syrup. You know, I know corn syrup's bad for you, but if you don't add the corn syrup, then it doesn't break down the peels as much. So the peels are really nice and soft. They're really good. I use these in a trail mix, but I'm not going to use them as much anymore now because I can't have the sugar. I think actually what I'm going to do this year is take the recipe down to as little sugar as possible, and we'll see how well that does. Now Jujubees are really easy to grow. Mine, I never fertilize it. It actually hasn't even been mulched. It's got part of it, you know, is under the lawn, as you can see. That area was flooded quite a bit last year as we were trying to get the irrigation problems resolved. And then it also goes through a lot of drought. It went through a lot of drought last winter, and it's come through everything without an issue. We also get very cold temperatures in the winter. This tree, I think, was planted in 2009 or 2010. And it's now 2021, so it's quite old. And it's gone through some very, very cold winters and is done just fine. It skips the spring frost because it doesn't bud out till almost June. It's one of the last trees that I have that buds out. So it skips all the frost in the spring. And then the early fall frosts are the only ones that have caused issues with it. It seems to go dormant really slowly, and a lot of times it'll just hit a freeze, and then all the leaves will just die the way they are. So that is the only issue with it, is the early fall freezes. Now you don't get a fall color with it. It just, the leaves stay green and then just die and fall off the tree. So it's not a beautiful fall plant, but it's gorgeous during the summer and it's gorgeous during the spring. It blooms near the end of June, all the way through probably almost the beginning of August. And the blooms are so tiny you can't see them. I'll see if I can find a picture of them and put them on this video for you. They're really, really tiny, and they seem to be pollinated by wasps. I can see the flowers from my bathroom window. So in the mornings as I'm getting ready, I'll watch all the wasps out there, pollinating them. And it seems to be the little tiny predatory wasps that are the ones that pollinate them. But the scent is wonderful. It smells up my entire yard in the summer, and I love the scent of it. It smells like honey almost. It's been an amazing tree, easy to take care of, huge harvests, and the fruit is really good for you. So I definitely suggest trying to grow a Jujube tree. They can grow just about anywhere. I think the coldest areas they'll have a hard time, but even I've heard of people growing them in Las Vegas, so I think the warm areas are fine too. So it can grow just about anywhere. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.